Good evening, everybody. Pop in. Let me know where you're from, what your name is. My moderator should be here shortly. They never fail me, right? I never ever have to worry whether or not they're going to be here. Yeah, because always, at least I know for sure. Andrew, I don't know the last time Andrew missed a live. Maybe he missed a live 1 or 2 times. Couple years ago or something, but not recently. I don't remember, but I expect him to be here quite shortly. So pop on in, say hello. Like I said, let me know where you're from, and yeah, let's have a conversation tonight about something. How about if I let you guys decide what the topic will be? How cool would that be, right? What did I say? Speak of the little angel himself. How's that, Andrew? Instead of calling you a little devil, we'll call you a little angel. Yeah. Happy Sunday. We're live, grateful, got a roof over our head. Let's see who comes in tonight. Let's see who's been staying safe. Everything sound around your area, Andrew, when it comes to like protests and the virus and everything? We're always off to a good start whenever we start these lives. Here, I want to move this over so Kathy's beautiful picture, everybody can see the beautiful picture that Kathy sent me, right? This is Dream Big. She colored that for me. Yeah, I love it. I have to get a good frame on it because it already fell off the wall once. That's why it's sitting on the shelf. I don't want to take the risk of it getting ruined, eh? And then I have my jadeite bookends. And I have my copper piggy bank and my invitation to add cents here, right? My dad's plaque. And yeah, I'm just working with stuff right now. Let's just try and keep it tidy for now. But I do like the color. I do like that bluish gray. It looks really good. We got some cases in our Hutterite colonies, Andrew. We have Hutterite colonies here. We had 5 cases this week. We went 11 or 12 days with no cases at all. And I think we were down to like 3 or 4 people in the hospital, or 3 or 4 people who actually had the virus. We didn't have anybody in the hospital at all. Yeah, I heard in the States there's like over 50,000 cases every day, new cases every day in the States, right? I got a fresh cup of coffee here. I did my live on Instagram, and yeah, I still have a couple of things to do. I still have my written post to do today. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'll keep it light tonight. I have an email I have to send it off today, this email, and it's an email that I'm not really quite sure how I'm going to go around about wording it and everything, but it has to hit home properly. So yeah, I've got to pay a little bit of attention to that, and then try and get a little walk around the block at the very least, right? Even though I had a nice long walk, my bike got stolen. I don't have a bike, people. My bike got stolen. So let me just get this out of the way because I can't see, or, well, I guess I can't see me there. We're just going to move that off just a little bit, right? That's not good either. It's still in my way. Let's just push it right back, right? Just I like to read the comments and everything, and yeah, here we go. We'll put it over here on this side, and I can see everything just perfect. Oh, much better. But yeah, well, it's good to hear that things are really slow. Yeah, I had 2 bikes stolen just this year. Remember, my bike got stolen in August, this past August, and then my sister was kind enough to give me hers, and then she decided she would give it to me if I cleaned her rug. I haven't cleaned her rug, and already her bike is gone, right? So I better go pick up that carpet. Yeah, so I've got to walk. I'm going to miss my bike terribly. I'm gonna miss my bike. Look who's here, Andrew. Look who's here. So excited, Nancy. How are you doing, dear? How are you doing? Oh, so exciting. How amazing is that? How are you doing, Nancy? How's the neighborhood? How are the protests? How's the viruses? How are you? How are you doing, right? Thought of you actually this week too, was sending good mojo out to you, right? Right? We hadn't heard from you, so we were kind of worried. We mentioned you, like we're yay, perfect. Perfect. Nancy's one of our stars here on my channel. She's had like the roughest time. She had riots and her roof over her head almost taken away from her. She's been under a lot of stress. Are we starting to come out of it, Nancy? What do you think? What do you think? Those stars saying that we're starting to come out of this? I'm starting to feel a little bit better. I have been for about a week now. Every day it just seems a little bit better, but I'm somebody whose emotions and stuff can go easily up and down, right? Like that, but it just seems that it's been pretty calm. Pretty calm. Things seem to be settling down. I've been trying not to pay this virus too much of attention, right? The kidneys. Nancy, if it's not one thing, it's another, right? Well, at least I know where it is. I'm going to send you some light there. I'm just going to send you a whole pile of light, Nancy, and Andrew will pray for you, and that light can just go wherever it's needed the most. Yeah, but how is it? Do you feel safe in your home? Do you feel safe that you have a roof over your head at the moment, Nancy? Do you at least feel that much? Yeah, I'd like to know that. But yeah, we've been thinking about you and oh, Melvin's here. Melvin from Alberta. Awesome. Awesome. How's your evening going, Melvin? Oh, a nice cup of coffee. It's really, really hot too. Yeah, I'm very happy for my cup of coffee. Perfect, Nancy. Right? Now let's keep you out of the hospital. Let's keep you settled in at home. And let's just write this little last piece out of there. And I expect everything will start feeling better. I think probably after tomorrow, right? The 20th. The 20th is the big rough day, and then it'll start slowly getting a little bit better every day. But I heard like November was going to be like crazy. I don't know why. I didn't take a look to see why, but they're saying November is going to be rough. So maybe that would be when our second wave is happening. I would like to think that this is all going to be over by then. Did you hear the whole world is combining into one organization? They're going to try as the world together to find a vaccination, and they are going to vaccinate the entire world for free. The governments are going to absorb the cost, and whatever countries can't afford the virus, the other countries are going to pick up the tab for that. So they're working now on finding the right virus. So I don't know how close they are yet. I don't know has anybody heard anything yet. But yeah, they say 70% now of the countries in the world have joined this organization. I can't remember the name of it, but they're now going to do hard work. It's all the money's going to go for research, the right staffing, for manufacturing, for distribution of the drug. And it's going to be, it's not going to be like, oh, this country gets some and this country doesn't get something. Everybody gets the vaccine if they can find it, right? Yeah, I was reading about it on a Reddit post yesterday afternoon, Andrew. I was reading about it. I wish I had taken the name down. It's right on the tip of my mind too. But yeah, it was a scientific pharmaceutical, right? They've been doing the research and everything, and slowly different countries started, offering their help and asking if there was anything they could do to help. And then slowly they just kind of got a big group together, and then slowly all the like disease control centers and stuff started campaigning or whatever they do, right? And now all the countries are joining in, so it's a big worldwide effort right now. So if they can find the vaccine, everybody's going to get it. Everybody in the whole world, right, is going to get it, right? Yeah. So we're going to worry about the people who are going to fight, right? Because those people who've gotten the virus already, right? They're not going to want to. They're not going to want to take the virus, the vaccine. But I think everybody should do it, no questions, right? Because lots of people can lie and say that that they've already had the virus and stuff when they really haven't, and then we're in no better situation just because they didn't want to. If everybody has to do it, if everybody, like, it would be different if only this group is going to do it, or that group is going to do it, or this category, or, this race. But it's not like that. Everybody gets to have the virus, right? So it's no crazy conspiracy or anything, right? And if that's the case, if we can get rid of this thing, how amazing is that, right? How amazing is that? Yeah, they said that 70% of the world is kind of like the UN for the virus, right? Yeah, and all the countries are contributing to the pool for the cost. They're sharing the cost, right? Everybody's contributing. Oh, Owen's here. Owen's here. Hi, Owen. But yeah, Nancy, so amazing that you're home. You're getting a little bit of a break. We were worried, right? We were worried. We noticed, of course, and yeah, it's really great that we can actually try and keep you. Let's try and keep you out of that hospital. Like now's the time that we're going to start evening out a little bit, and those of us that are going to push forward a little bit ahead, right? That's what we're going to do. And those that need to take a little bit of rest, they have to take their little bit of rest, right? Build up that strength and then get back into the mix, right? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but yeah. Oh, and nice to see you here. And as usual, Andrew got here and picked up the yap in between. And yeah, Melvin's here. I didn't know you were from Alberta, Melvin. I thought you were from Manitoba. But you said you were from the prairie, so I think I kind of assumed that you were from excuse me, from Manitoba. But yeah, Alberta has prairies, right? Southern Manitoba, Alberta has prairies. Saskatchewan has prairies, right? And Manitoba has prairies. If you go up further north, you get the boreal forest, right? Then you get a lot of rock up north. I love it up there. It's absolutely beautiful. I want to get one of those those white balls with the bongs inside, and you run that thing inside the bowl, and it makes music. And I want to go sit up on one of those giant rocks up in Nopaming Park where nobody is. Just me sitting on a rock with all those little mountain rocks all around me and the lakes and everything, and play that thing and make noise, sing. Right? And just enjoy myself. Wouldn't that be amazing? Yeah. I would really like to do it and listen to it all echo through all the little rock formations and everything, and across the lake, and knowing I could be as loud as I want and not be bothered by another human being, or not bother another human being. Maybe the bears and the mountain lions, right? But I always, when I sit or stop, I always make sure that my back is up against a tree, right? Because if a cat's going to stalk you, he's going to come up behind you and he's going to clomp on the back of your head, right? Yeah, so if I ever stop, always make sure that I'm sitting up against a rock formation, or my back is up against a tree or something, right? Because you don't want to give them, you don't want to help them, right? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's awesome. I love Alberta. My husband was stationed in Edmonton, and we were there for about a year, and then I came back to Manitoba, and you know how things are. We tried again, and I went back out to Alberta, and I lasted for about another 8 months or so, and then I just said, no, right, this isn't going to work, right? This isn't going to work. And I packed up my house and I came back to Manitoba because I didn't know anybody in Alberta, right? We just moved out there because he was with the military. He was with the 1st Battalion, right? So I only went out there when he got stationed out there, but when we broke up, I went straight back to Manitoba, right? Because that's where my family was, and I still had friends there, and I had a job I knew I could go back to there. So that's why I came back to Manitoba. But it still took years and years, right? Both of us. I remember selling a car for a plane ticket so I could go visit him, right? I used to go to poor. And after my marriage split apart like that, I couldn't hold jobs very well, right? I couldn't hold jobs very well. I was lucky if I really liked the job and if I was really comfortable and I thought that it would suited my personal lifestyle, right? Then I would definitely put all my effort into it and everything. But I really, you know, it was just, other than that, yeah, I had a few long, over 5 years. I had a few of them after my divorce, but a couple of them were like, I didn't want to go. It was too comfortable, and people are shooing me on my way, right? And I wasn't having none of that. I was just had digging in my feet, right? Making my point, right? Holding them. And I don't know why I did that. Like, who really wants to hang out and work somewheres where they know they weren't welcomed or weren't wanted anymore, right? The only reason they stuck me around because was I was such a floater, right? Yeah. And that's because they made me so unhappy. I was so unhappy when I was there when that company sold over. It was just like a light switch went off, right? And then my mom died right away. And yeah, I got this idea I was wasting my life. And yeah, I went to work. I went to work putting my life together, right? And started my YouTube channel and started doing mindfulness and mindset, right? And yeah, my live shows, and then, wanting to practice and get good because I wanted to be a thought leader, right? I wanted what I had to say matter. I always thought I had something important to say, and I just wanted to be able to do a good job at getting my message across and not feeling I was beholden to anybody, to keep my mouth shut, like I was welcome, like my opinion mattered, right? So that was very important to me. And so that's what I've been doing ever since. And slowly, 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 I see the progress, right? I hope everybody out there can see the progress. I told everybody on my Instagram that they should go onto my YouTube channel and look at some of those live shows I did like 2 years ago, when I was going through that really, really hard time. And things are no different today than they were 2 years ago. The only difference is the way I'm handling it, right? I'm not handling it with those emotional breakdowns I was having all those times, and those unreasonable thinking or blaming other people for where I was at and stuff, right? And I had no understanding as to what was going on even. I was just all scattered. I was just like, what the hell? What did I just step into, right? I had no idea. So that was all a learning process in itself, right? And then just to discover new interests and, be able to learn the way I'm learning and be actually, feel good about it too, right? be an expert in what I love and what I've always been an expert in, right? You know, it's those childhood experiences that we have. We have those miserable childhood experiences, and they build character. You know, they help us to put up boundaries, help us to learn about values, right? But at the same time, they cause us problems too, don't they? Right? And then it's a matter of, you know, working with it and just getting better and better all the time. Yeah, I hope to show well one day, and all those old videos and everything, I'll download them, and you know, right, we'll do a before and after. Even what I look like is different. Don't I look so different compared to what I was looking like, you know, even a year ago, right? I just look more and more different every day. Yeah, and I feel better and better every day. Right? I'm going to be 59 this year. 59. That's incredible. I'm really, really pleased with that. Right? If I make it to 60, that might be a record on my dad's side for sure. That will be a record on my dad's side. Right? Because nobody, all my aunts and uncles and stuff, right? They all used to hang. It was just like within 5 years, they were like all gone, right? And they were all in their early 40s or mid 40s, right? Yeah. By the time I was 12, they were all gone. Yeah, all, and most of them from heart attacks and strokes. Almost all of them, you know. And I had lots of those relatives in their 40s because, you know, that's who my dad liked to hang out with. He liked to hang out with his family and stuff, right? My dad was, you know, as much as he was a social person, I understand how my dad was because he was very much like me. My dad was a very, very social person, right? When it came to work and, right, bringing in the money and stuff, he was very social. But when he wasn't working, right, he was all about the family and staying at home. And I don't remember us having visitors and stuff in our house. Like, it wasn't very often. You know, maybe once in a while, my dad would invite one of his friends over to have a few beers or something, but mostly no, right? My dad just liked to hang with the family. I'm pretty certain too I'll make it to 60. Yeah. Is it Nancy's birthday? Let me take a look here. Wow, see, we're all baby boomers here, right? We're all baby boomers. Yeah, happy birthday, Nancy. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I guess this is a birthday to remember, isn't it? Yeah. Or a birthday you want to forget. Right. Right. And that's so true, Andrew. You have to learn from it in order for it to actually be of any value to anybody, right? Yeah. You're right. 100%. I feel exactly the same way, Andrew, right? And that's where I'm going with all of this. I'll be working with a lot of, you know, trauma, whether it's post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm assuming this whole experience of mine, like I truly believe, like all the experiences looking back has led me to this point, right? And if I'm going to be working in trauma, it just seems like a little bit of a coincidence that, you know, my husband had post-traumatic stress disorder. I had complex post-traumatic stress disorder, right? I had friends who suffered that I was actually, you know, I was home the night they came home from Croatia, Operation Harmony, right? Right? And one of our friends had a big party, a big party. That was the thing, you know, when they come out of the field, right? You go and have a good big drunk with the boys. That's what it was for. All the wives did their own thing. But I guess, you know, the wives want a part of their husbands too, and they just got home, right? So a lot of things they did is they make big barbecues and big parties house parties and stuff, and they would let the wives come too, right? So that way, the first night home, the wives and the husbands are still together, but the guys can still be getting pounded and stuff and unleashing some of that misery that they've been choking on for, like, tours were 6 months long, right? And then my husband, I think he did 3 tours, right? 3 tours. And yes, he got post-traumatic stress disorder. He had a very bad job, right? People were burying people wherever. My husband had to go and clean that all up and properly, lay people to rest in places where it wouldn't, pollute the water system, where people wouldn't get sick. So yeah, of course, he didn't fare well after that. And lots of people don't, right? Those people with the big hearts, right? People who don't like to see bad things happen. And yet you're in the military, you gotta pretend, right? You can't show your weakness. It's a sign of weakness, right? So you don't talk about it. You choke on it. I didn't even know my husband had post-traumatic stress disorder until after we had separated. We had been separated probably, for a few months, when I heard that he was actually seeing somebody on base to talk about his problems, and that they actually put him on leave for his problems, right? So I found out much later after we had separated, but he kept it secret for me because it's, that's the thing, right? You don't show your weakness, right? And of course, there's that worry. If you show your weakness, then maybe you'll be showing the door. I know people that happened to. I had a friend, when they came back again that same night. Well, it wasn't that same night. It was that same week, but it was a different event, right? Well, let's go back to the house party first, right? We'll go to the house party first. So there's a big house party, and we all went, and, I was happy to have my husband home, or not yet my husband. We were going to be married in a few more months, but I've been planning the wedding and everything while he was away. All he had to do was go get his suit, and he did really well, picked beautiful, beautiful suits for all the groomsmen and everything. He did a really nice job at that, right? Oh, and he got the New Yorkers for the driving around, right? Because I wanted to toot the horn and stuff like that, right? And then he wanted a nice procession, right? I thought it would be cool just to have pickup trucks, because all the guys had pickup trucks. But anyway, back to my story. So I went to this party, and I had this friend, right? I won't say his name, but he was sitting in the chair, and I could see his knuckles, and as he was digging into the arm of the chair, of this chair, fabric chair, and his fingers were all white because he was digging into him so much, but he wasn't moving. It was like an hour, and he was still in the exact same spot. I knew there was something wrong, right? His drink was even full beside him. It was because his hands were so dug into the arms of this chair that he couldn't release his arm to pick up his drink, right? So I said, so-and-so, right? What's wrong? What's wrong? He says, Cindy, like, I can't move. I can't move. I'm so freaked out, right? If I move, I feel like I'm going to die, right? He says, you just hang with me, right? You just hang with me, and everybody's ignoring you. Nobody's even noticing, right? But I want you to get up, right? I want you to get up. Stay close to me. Just keep your arm touching me, right? So that we're close. And we're going to go out to the car. We're going to go out and sit in the car, right? Or you know what? Better yet, I need to go to the store. So you're coming to the store with me. And yeah, it didn't take much. He got up right away. He did exactly what I told him. He kept his skin next to my skin, right? You need that. You need that when you're having anxiety. You need to have that skin to skin. That will bring you down, right? It'll calm you down, right? Even if somebody's like rubbing your arm or running the hand, don't talk to them, right? Because they can't concentrate. They don't understand what you're talking about, right? They just want you to shut up, right? Just touch and just be there. Just be there, and they'll calm down slowly. So we went to 7-Eleven, and we had the best time. It was like, he said it was like being in Disneyland. And he came right down. We stayed in 7-Eleven for a good half an hour, right? Just joking and laughing and talking to people. And it brought him right down, right? And he remembered me for that. Like, he mentioned it all the time, right? Every time he saw me, he thanked me, because there were people that was his first night, and he came out of his post-traumatic that first night, right? Sometimes it takes the guys a few days. Sometimes it takes a few weeks. Sometimes a few months. Sometimes you never come out of your post-traumatic. Sometimes you have it forever, right? Right? If you don't get help, right? If you don't know what exactly you need to be working on, right? And yeah, I had another friend that same week, right? Like I said, it takes everybody different amount of times. And we were in the bar standing around, and one of his buddies, his very best friend, came up and kind of tapped him on the shoulder, right? Like, hey, buddy, right? You know, I won't say his name again, right? Sweetheart, we used to be able to have the most amazing conversations, big intellectual, philosophical kind of conversations, right? He was such a nice guy. And and yeah, he turned around and he bit his best friend's ear right off. He got freaked out so bad. He had an attack right there in the bar, and he turned around when he got tapped on the shoulder or whatever it was, and he bit his friend's right ear, and the army let him go out of the army. And he ended up going and living downtown Vancouver as, I don't know, homeless almost, right? I saw him a couple of years later. He popped into town, and I went to have a really good, because it was a good conversation. I love talking to him. We get in deep, deep conversations. And I couldn't even get anything out of him because his whole mind was just controlled by sex. That's all he could talk about. He couldn't have a conversation about anything else because it would just get drawn right back to that subject again. He had a serious problem. I felt so terrible for him, right? He was such a nice guy, and I loved him to death, but he had a problem, right? But you know, like I said, some people come out of it slowly. Some people, it takes them a long time. Sometimes it takes a lifetime, you know. I pulled myself out. I very easily, when my marriage fell apart, 20 years, I was by myself. I didn't date or anything. I had a couple of friends, right, I kept company with, but, you know, I wasn't interested in dating or anything after that. I just shut my whole life down. I've been by myself, struggling financially, trying to take care of myself, right? Slowly losing all my friendships, all my relationships. Anybody who could see how broken I was, right? I just got rid of them out of my life until there was nobody left, right? And that's trauma too, right? Same kind of symptoms as regular trauma, big C trauma, the little C. It's just how I got about getting there, right? I got there with the little traumas. One trauma, until finally it just compressed that when my marriage fell apart, I kind of fell apart too. Whereas the big C trauma, that's the one where the police get it and the paramedics and, you know, right? Emergency doctors, people who witness terrible accidents, right? That they can't get out of their minds. But it's the same symptoms. You get the same thing, except one is the trauma hits you like that and you don't have time to analyze, react, or anything. You're just thrown into shock immediately by it, right? The other one is just bite, pinch, right? Until finally something happens and you go, oh, I'm done, right? And that's what happened to me. And it's taken me 3 years, right? I was so bad because I had childhood stuff too that I didn't know I had to deal with and stuff, right? And because of the dynamic family structure that I grew up in, I needed that little bit of accountability, that little bit of structure, and that little bit of strictness in order to get the lessons in. If you have trauma, whether it's from, you know, post-traumatic stress disorder from being in the service, right? If you witnessed a terrible accident, right? The small C, if you have the complex, right? Just like, again, like me, you just had little miseries happen until finally you just kind of broke, right? Mindset, people, right? It's how I pulled myself out of it. I wouldn't have been able to do all that love and understanding and, you know, let's hold hands and kumbaya. That wouldn't have done it for me It wouldn't have, right? I needed accountability. Accountability was the only thing that was going to get me on top of that pile, right? What's that story about the crabs, right? I'm in the bucket of crabs and I'm in the top of the bucket trying to hold on to the edge and trying to pull myself up and over that bucket, right? But everybody's saying, no, you're not going anywhere. You're staying right down here with us, right? You're staying right down here with us. And that's what I've been doing, right? Bucket of crabs. I like that analogy. I don't know where I heard it from, but it's a popular one because I heard another girl in my class say the same thing. She didn't call it a bucket of crabs. She called it a bucket of something crawling out of the bucket. But yeah, I know it as the bucket of crabs, right? Yeah, well, with the hoarders, right? The hoarders are usually with the people who have family members who pass away. It's a way of preserving memory, right? The grief is so bad that they're only comfortable in the grief. So they keep all these memories and they start collecting, and it gets to the point where the whole meaning of hoarding has changed to the point of I can't lose anything else, right? I can't lose anything else, right? I'm keeping everything. I'm keeping everything, right? Yeah. Hoarders, right? We've got hoarders on my block too. There's a house just 2 blocks down, and every winter that house gets, or the house next to it gets sold, right? And they do it in the wintertime because they can't tell that it's a hoarder house in the wintertime. It just looks like old scaffolding on the side of the house that they just took a little bit of break from the renovations and they're going to start up again on the spring. They don't realize that broken down scaffolding is ready to drop and has been there for like 25 years, ever since I've lived in the neighborhood, right? And all that stuff stored on the porch has not moved in those 25 years. And they don't realize that until spring or summertime. And they go, oh, my neighbor's a hoarder, right? And then what do? They wait until winter when everything is covered up in snow. And then they sell their house, right? And they just pass it along. Pass the faulty along, right? Yeah, you have to be able to let things go, Owen, right? It's easy to hoard. I've been letting things go like crazy, right? Out of necessity. Number one, I want to move somewhere smaller into a bedroom in a house, or like as a little, maybe there's an elderly person or something that just needs groceries picked up or something. And, maybe we could make a deal where I could have a room in the house, right? Wouldn't that be lovely? Maybe that person has a nice backyard that I could spend time in the backyard, and at the same time they get a little company and a little bit of help. Maybe they'll let me borrow their car on the weekends to go exploring. Right? But I could take them around, drive them around for appointments and stuff too. Right? Just there's always little opportunities. Something will come around, and I've got my forms filled out for housing, and I'll drop those off tomorrow before I leave to come home tomorrow from class. That I will stop and I will drop those forms off, right? Yeah. Right? Everything will be okay. Everything will be okay. Now, everybody, do you want to hear about an experience that I had? Yes, not yesterday, but the day before. I already told the story on my Instagram. It was amazing. It was amazing. I was going for a walk, an evening walk. I was going to get a cup of coffee at McDonald's. You get little peel stickers and you get to fill the cards up, and 7 of those little stickers and you get a free coffee, right? So I had one of those. I didn't have any money. No money. I was just losing weight like crazy, right? But I wasn't going to ask anybody for help. I was just going to try and stand on my own 2 feet, and that's what I did. And I know I wasn't supposed to turn stuff down if it was offered to me, but I couldn't help it. I let my pride get in the way, and I ended up suffering for another day because of it, right? I got to remember, like, if I need something, don't say no. If I need something, right? Take the help if it's offered. So I learned a lesson there, right? I learned a lesson there, and I won't make that. I won't make that mistake again because I was hungry. But at the same time, right? I got down another notch that I was looking at that I wanted to hit, and I hit it. So I was really pleased, right? So, I'm thinking maybe another 5 or 10 pounds, right? I know I keep saying that, but another 5 or 10 pounds, and those 5 or 10 pounds could be my play weight, right? So I can stay within those 5 or 10 pounds. And once I hit the 10 pounds, then I know, okay, Cindy, back on the diet, right? Because I'm comfortable at the weight I'm at now. I'm comfortable. This is the kind of shape I like to be in, right? I don't want to be super thin, right? But I don't want to be heavier too. And as long as physically I feel good and emotionally I feel good, then yeah, I'm good with this, right? So I went for a walk. Oh, let's answer Andrew's question here. Ah, you know, there are programs, and one of the facilitators in my mentorship program gave me a number that I could go work off a bill. If I had a bill, it's another store where I could pick up hours, and then that money would be applied to my bill. I have a phone bill that's about to get cut off. I have no way of paying it, right? I'm just waiting for miracles, right? If they want me to have my phone, then yeah, give me an idea how to get that phone back up and running. Or, right, I'm just not going to worry about it because I'll know that it was meant to be, right? It's just saying, Cindy, you needed a break. You're too hard on yourself. It's time for you to take a few days off. And that's what I'm going to consider it. But at the same time, I'm going to try and solve the problem, right? If I can. That's just the person that I am. But what was I going to say about that? Oh, the services. Yes. But I can't do anything else. I can't add any more onto my platter, right? I'm going to class during the day. I'm working in the afternoon. I have my live, and then I have a written post, right? And sometimes I don't even get my evening walk in because I haven't got my written post done, right? So I can't put anything more on my plate right now. I'm doing good with what I'm doing. This is how I can do a good job. And if there's an opportunity where I can do a little bit extra, right? Because when I'm waiting before class, outside and stuff, I can do stories and stuff, right? I can do those during the course of the day or lunch break or whatever. I can do those, right? But when it comes to adding more, like another shift, yeah. And especially when it's on the other side of the town too, right? That would just be too much. I want to be able to give everything that I have, right, to the work experience and to my class. And I'm doing really good right now, right? And I think I'm showing them very well. I hope I am, right? It's my nature to want to do that. But they've treated me well. I'm grateful to be in their program. So I'd like to show them well, right? But yeah, there are programs, and I could look for more of them, right? I know there's work clothing programs. There's the housing one I'm going to apply for, right? Because I lost my rent assist when I went on regular assistance, right? So I don't get that benefit anymore. But if I move into housing, I will still get the same amount of money for rent, I think, right? But it'll just go directly. So it might be an extra $100 a month for me, plus my savings, right? Because I won't be adding money in because they only give you like 500 and something for your rent. But my rent is 700 and something. So I put my grocery money in. So that's why I go without so often, right? Yeah. It is. I'm not worried about Nancy. I am. I'm moving forward, moving forward. I'm actually pretty excited and optimistic, and I have a little bit of foresight as to what I think is going to happen, right? Or maybe what I hope would happen. And if it doesn't happen, it'll be something else. I'll just do something else, right? But at the moment, I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be right at the moment, and I'm enjoying I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I'm grateful to be able to start getting back on my feet, right? It won't be for long. Just get a little bit of equipment, get a bike. I need a new bike, right? I would like to get a bike as soon as possible, right? I would like to get a bike as soon as possible. And I was taking good care of my bike, right? I was taking good care of my bike, but what can you do? If they want the bike, they want the bike, right? And so it was my turn to lose a bike that wasn't mine to start with, right? You have to, Owen. You have to, right? You have to find the good in it. There's no point in just being miserable. It's so easy, right? Oh, my Prairie Dodgers sign. The letters fell off, and I didn't have replacement letters, and I didn't have other letters that kind of would work that way. So the believe is still there. You can kind of see it because I just painted right over it. So I'm going to paint that so it's outlined. So I'm going to be able to paint that, and I'll put sparkles on it or something, right? So that will look nice when I'm done. It's right at the nice height too. So you can see it right there, right? And then the big one here, I scraped it off, and then I repainted the wall. And when I have a few, because I need 2 packages, right? Because the E's, there's lots of E's, right? In Prairie Dodgers. I think that was the word. Yeah, there was, yeah, I think it was the E's and the R's. So I have to get 2 packages, and I hopefully they'll find, because those were nice letters too that I had, because they had lots of sparkles, and when the light hit them, they shone really nice, right? My brother-in-law Ray has that stick, Nancy, and I've only seen Ray once in about 4 months. I've only seen him. I don't even know if he's put the hole in it, right? Yeah. I may have to do a magic wand for you instead. Or in your case, Nancy, we'll call it a whacker, right? When somebody doesn't treat you well, you can just whack them with it. Did I do this? Oh, here, this one. I finished the 3rd coat. I have one more coat on Karen's stick, right? Look at that. Look the colors came out in that. Isn't that pretty? I just love how it turned out. This has already been sanded, so neat. So you can see how the finish is starting to show now, because it's been sanded already. So now the wood has got a nice even tone, but I can still feel the worm rot, right? And this all has to feel nice and smooth. You shouldn't feel anything when you run your hands down this. So yeah, one more coat. One more coat, right? But yeah, that was would a cane do anything for you? Nancy, I could make you a cane, but I don't know if you would use the cane. But wow, I was very pleased. I was very pleased with how I was really pleased with how this turned out. It's just gonna fit her hands perfectly. I guess I should email her, because if I put this last coat on it, then then she can come by and pick it up, and we can have a little visit. I haven't even met her in person, only through Karen's videos, right? Yeah, you were saying that before, Andrew. I think the same thing. It's like ancient writing, right? I didn't want to lose it. I thought I was going to lose it. I sanded quite a bit of it down, but once the oil set in between the cracks, then it darkened right up. So I was really pleased with how that turned out, right? Mm. This coffee tastes really good. Yeah, it worked out really good, and yours too. Yours too worked out really good. Yours is sitting over on one of my lamp tables over on against the wall, right? But as soon as I can afford to send them to you guys, right? So make sure I have your address, Owen. Make sure you email me your address, and actually, why don't you do that right away after the live tonight? so that I have that on file. I'll save it to my file so that, and I won't even tell you that I'm sending it to you. It'll just show up in your mailbox one day, and hopefully it'll make your day, right? We all love those surprises. Like last week, right? When I was in school and I was going to have a friend come over for dinner, and all I had was like $4 and change and something. It was enough to get some lettuce, and it was enough to get a green onion, right? So that I could make egg salad for her. And it was the last of my money. I had nothing else. And I was walking home, and there was a $20 bill sitting right there. It was so windy too, and it wasn't even budging. It was just like it was glowing, saying, "Here I am, Cindy, pick me up," and it like saved my butt, right? I had a few of those magical moments this week, right? Where really wonderful things happened, but then at the same time, I had some really poopy things happen this week too, like losing my bike, right? Having my bike stolen, my second bike this year. I didn't, I hope they needed it. And it was funny too, because as I was like locking up the bike, and there were two people that it was like a couple, and they were sitting there on the sidewalk in front of the store, and their backs were up against the wall, and they were looking at me, right? And in my mind, just the word, oh, they look shady, right? But I don't like to stereotyping like that and stuff. So I just, as I walked by them, I just smiled at them and I went into the store, right? But I'm pretty certain they're the ones that grabbed my bike, right? Right? Yeah. Right. They were just discussing with the, oh, we can get that one. Yeah, I came out and I knew instantly my bike was gone. And it was like 50 feet ahead too. I could tell. My bike is gone. But I walked up to the rack anyway just to make sure. And sure enough, my bike was gone. And I just turned around and started walking home. What can you do? You can't cry over it or beat yourself up. What good is that going to do, right? You're just going to make yourself miserable, right? Yeah, so I just decided that I was just gonna walk home and just try and forget about it. I liked my little coffee setup I had. I had this little container on the front that held my coffee cup and stuff. When I went for bike rides at night, I could have a sip of my coffee once in a while. And tonight would have been a perfect night for a bike ride. Right? But I got to get right into my written post. And as I'm done here, I think it'll just be something pretty simple today, right? Something pretty light. And then I can get into my email. And then that will be the end of the day. And then tomorrow I'll be back in class. And then Tuesday I'm back at work and class, right? It's all about introducing change. They're just going to add more. I think this week is time management. Yeah, I wonder what the task they have in store for us this week, right? Yeah, the time management, right? And then also we had to do these special tests online, right? And one they do, the facilitators in the class do it, and it's their reflection on what I'm doing and how I'm doing and all the different categories and questions, right, on me and their reflection. And then I get the same test and I do it on me, right? So we're going to see, right, how aware I am and how close I am to the circles, right? Because the circles are supposed to be the same. There shouldn't be much difference. Like there shouldn't be a little circle and a big circle. They should be about the same, and and they should actually look like circles, right? Yeah, so we'll get that tomorrow too, right? Yeah, they looked a little shady, Melvin. I hate to stereotype, but yeah, I'm pretty certain that was the couple that took my bike. And it was funny because I don't do that. In my head, I don't do that, but it popped into my head. So when my bike went missing, I automatically knew, right? That was my brain saying, Cindy, take note, right? Yeah. And now that the coronavirus is out there, right? Like all the poor people and the homeless and stuff, they're having such a hard time here in Canada. They're not eligible for very much at all, right? In the way of relief. And again, let's go to that story. We got a half an hour. Let me tell you this amazing story, okay? First, Let me look at the comments here to see what I've missed. We'll do a couple of that, and then I'm going to tell you the story of this experience that I had day before yesterday. Oh, good, Nancy. Yes, right? I'm going to make you a magic wand, right? You're a princess. You need a magic wand. You need a magic wand. Perfect. Perfect. Don't go. We're going to make this decision right now because I'm going to start working on it, Nancy, right away. Hold on. We're going to let you choose, right? It's going to be like, let's make a deal, right? Curtain number 1. This one's really masculine, right? I thought this would make for a really kind of like a sword design magic wand. I thought it would be real cool. And it's a nice piece of strong, this is oak, this one here, but it dried really nice. It's not so heavy, right? So we have this one, right? Okay. And then we have this cool one. This is really crooked. I thought this was pretty cool, right? I don't know how I would do it. Maybe like this. No, I like it. I like it like this. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. This little crooked one make for a cool one. And I didn't know whether I would do it with like, jewels or, I thought maybe even I would stain them before I put lacquer on them. Or I can paint them with real cool colors and do real cool design. Here's a cool one. This is kind of devilish. Nancy, look at this, the 2-prong. That's so cool. This is going to make such a cool wand. Again, this one's really masculine, right? But don't you think that is just like the cool? And I was thinking kind of snakes with this one. I thought maybe, I could do like 2 snakes or, something. I don't know. I really just kind of think this is cool. And then this is a one I just got the other day, right? And this is a piece of elm. This is a piece of elm, right? And it's so straight. I just love this stick, right? It's just a beautiful little stick ready to be sanded and done something with. Okay. Curtain number 1, the sword. Curtain number 2, crooked man. Curtain number 3, little devil. Walking the straight line. Which one do you want, Nancy? Let me know in the comments below, and that one will be yours. And I'll get to work on it right away. Next Sunday, I'll show you where I'm at, right? Number 3 was the devil stick. This one? I'm holding up. Just say yes if it's this one. Perfect. I like this one too. This is going to be really cool. This is going to be really good. I like this. Oh, I like this. Yeah, I like it too. I'm going to do something really neat with this. I'm not quite sure. It's very white. That might look really nice if I painted it or something. Yeah, I'm going to give it some thought, and I'll get cracking on this week sometime. Yeah, it's going to look really neat when it's done. Okay, Nancy, that one's yours. That's my next one. And it'll give me something to do to keep me occupied, right? I need to keep that momentum going, right? I have to keep that momentum going. But at the same time, I don't want to be pooping myself out, right? I don't want to be pooping myself out. I just want to make sure that I'm just occupied, that things are going well. I don't expect them to go smoothly, but I'm going to say I expect them to go smoothly, right? Got to think positively, right? Think positive all the time. You know, I was reading about me, right? You know, the type of person that I am and the family that I grew up in and everything. So I've been doing a lot of studying. And, you know, I'm a truth sayer, and that's what got me in so much trouble, right? Because I was always calling, you know, my parents, like I could clearly see, right, that things weren't being done right, or I was being treated badly by people and stuff. Like I could clearly see when it was done, and I clearly knew it was wrong. I had that frame of mind to know that it was wrong and not to blame myself, right? You know, so that was one thing about me, right? I never, you know, I was always a pleaser, right? I was always a pleaser, but I didn't want this stuff on me, right? So if I could please people and avoid the pain, that's what I would do, right? But a lot of my trouble came because, yeah, I knew people, like I understood people my whole life. Well, let's go to this little story I was going to tell you about, right? So I went for a walk day before yesterday. Like I said, I was going for a cup of coffee. I like to walk the back lanes, right? And I was walking the back lane, and there was a lady and a young man. They were sitting at this rusty picnic table, metal picnic table, right? And I just walked by them because I'm just looking in backyards at gardens and la di da, right? And I just walk up another 20 or 30 feet, and I hear, ma'am, ma'am, right? And this young man, probably about 19 years old, he was 19. He told me he was 19, right? His name was Alex. And he ran up to me, he goes, ma'am, ma'am. He says, you know, can you look inside my mouth, right? But being an empath, you know, I'm scanning him, right? Safety first, right? I got to make sure I'm in a good situation. He was clearly high. He was clearly high on something. He wasn't drunk, right? Because I would know that. I worked with drunk people lots, working in the bar, right? I would have been able to tell instantly if he'd been drinking, but he wasn't drinking. He was just very, very high, right? So he asked me to look inside his mouth. I said, okay. So I looked inside his mouth, and I guess his whole inside of where his lip is, into the back of his cheek, it was split wide open, right? But it had been healing for the past couple of days. He says, do you think I need to go to the hospital, get stitches? I says, that's already starting to heal. And I says, it's starting to go white too. So you need to spray some peroxide in there, right? Get rid of that bacteria. And I could see he probably has not brushed his teeth in probably a year. Handsome young man too. Very handsome young man, right? Very polite to me and everything, right? Very polite. And clearly with problems, right? I says, how did you do that? And he says, well, no, at first I said, you got to brush your teeth. He said, oh, that's going to hurt, right? Because, well, of course it's going to hurt. It's going to sting getting that. That's an open wound there, right? Right? It's like pouring vinegar or pickle juice on an open sore. Of course it's going to hurt, right? Right? But he says, yeah, but not about it's my side of my face. My dad, you know, knocked out my back teeth. He knocked out my back teeth, and the roots are still there, and I could just feel it, and I just like, right? So I started looking for a place that we could sit down and have a chit chat. I says, let's talk, right? Let's just sit down and let's have a chit chat. He says, well, my house is just here, a couple of houses down. Do you want to come and sit in my backyard, right? And then it was obviously in my mind that he was the gentleman I saw with the woman sitting at the metal table. So I had already assessed that this was going to be okay. You know, I'm sure he's done bad things, right, and stuff, but I figured for the moment I was probably safe, and I kind of figured he needed somebody to talk to, right? And so I went and sat with him. Well, I didn't sit in there. I couldn't sit. It was in too bad of shape that I would have broken that chair. I don't know how they even managed to sit in that chair. They probably didn't even they had a certain spot they were sitting to make sure that it didn't cave in, because it was like aluminum, right? But I asked him how he was doing. I asked him to tell me the story, right? And then, he just burst into tears and I consoled him a little bit, right? He told me about his dad. He showed me a video of his dad just totally high on pills and things he was doing and saying and just how he was. And it was heartbreaking. And here was this 19-year-old boy turning out to be just like his dad. I was at a loss, right? I've had friends who've had drug problems, right? But I never was around them. Like, I knew they had the problems and I didn't want to be around that. So I just went off and, just did my own thing and made new friends and stuff. I just didn't want to be around that life, right? Right? I worked in the bars. I saw that destroy lives. I just didn't want to be that. And I told him, I said, you're like the 5 people you hang around with, right? You're like the 5 people you hang around with. It's up to you to get away and start making some plans to get that done, right? He's saying he wants to be an entrepreneur. You could clearly see he was scrapping in the backyard, right? But he's got a dad that's beating him and his mom up, right? When I was there, his mom was in the backyard, right? I knew she was in the house. All the windows were blowing out of the back of the house. It was a developer's block. They had bought up all the houses, and I guess I don't know if they made a deal with the developers or they just opened up the door of one of the houses that were left empty, right? And we're living in there. They had nothing. They weren't eligible for any money. All of them skinny, skinny, skinny. You could tell they were hungry, right? You could tell they were hungry. That wasn't natural skinniness. That was skinny from not eating, right? So, I had the conversation with him and, when I was ready to leave, the mother came out the door. We had a great conversation, me and the mother. And we actually even met once before when I had been giving her directions and stuff, right? You know, I told that poor boy, I says, it's up to you to try and save your life. You're in a really bad situation right now. But, it gave me some humble pie, right? Because, you think you have it bad, but then you realize there are people out there who've got it even worse. Those poor people, those homeless, they're having such a hard time right now. And, they're going to resort to crime if we don't help them out. And I just keep telling people, when you've got those recycle bottles and the cans and stuff like that, can you leave them outside, a couple of days before the recycle people come to pick them up, and let the canners have them instead. The canners are such hard workers, right? And they're having such a hard time right now. And wouldn't that be a kindness if they went out and they saw that you left a blue bucket full of water bottles and stuff for them, right? So that's what happened. And I had this great conversation with them, and the mother came out and sure enough, she was listening to everything. She recognized me as soon as I walked into the backyard, and I told her son, if I'm in the neighborhood, I'm going to stop and we're going to talk again, right? I'm going to take a little interest in him if I came. And I was walking home having a cup of coffee, and I bumped into the mother again today, right? She looked like she was dressed up to go somewheres, right? I gave her the brightest hello that I could give her. I could see she was in a rush for the bus or something, right? But I gave her the biggest cheerful hello that I could possibly muster, and made sure that it was genuine, and yeah. So I'll keep my eye open. If there's any way I could help, I made a big pot of soup. I would have taken it over today, but it wasn't finished cooking so I had to just turn off the heat and just naturally let it finish cooking as it cooled off, right? And then I just put it in containers and froze it. I might take a couple of containers to her, right? But yeah, so that was what I had done. It was such an amazing experience, right? And he thanked me for the visit, and he thanked me for the advice. And I don't know if he would take it, right? He was pretty high. But I don't normally have interactions with people like that, right? And I felt really good because he was feeling better after it, right? And he actually approached me, right? He approached me, and yeah. So that was an experience. I was very humbled by the whole experience, right? Because I've been crying the blues. Why me? Why me? Why me? And there are people out there saying the same thing, but they're in even worse situations. So I gotta be grateful, and I apologize for even considering that my needs above anybody else's like that. That was Yeah, that was a little bit of humble pie for me, right? Yeah, passed down through the generations, right? My grandpa was an alcoholic. My grandpa was an alcoholic, right? He was always trying. He'd go for long spells at a time, quit, 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 and then he would go on a drinking binge again and destroy himself for a few months, and then he'd quit, 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 right? He did that his whole life, and his wife kept taking him back, right? Kept kicking him out, taking him back, kicking him out, taking it out back. But as a child, you don't think that. You think that's family. You think that's normal. You don't think those things as problems, you know? I didn't even realize that my dad was a compulsive gambler until after I left high school, but it was clear, right? Because we called them rice months, right? When my dad had a bad gambling month, he'd pick up a 20-pound bag of rice. And my mother had 100 recipes that she could bake with a bag of rice, and we'd live on rice every day for a month until he could get back on his feet and start again. And yeah, right, rice is a great survivor food. It's cheap and you can make lots out of it, right? And that's what my dad did. Oh, Robert's here too. Hi, Robert. Aw, that's so true, right? And I was saying that, Andrew, on my post yesterday on my Instagram, like, when we people ask for change and stuff, right? Don't just dig into your pocket when they say, "Oh, can I have $1?" and just give them $1, just hand over the money. Like, ask how they're doing, ask if they're having a good day, right? Ask them if they need a bottle of water, if you have an extra bottle of water on you or something. Make them feel like a human being, right? Pity is the worst thing. These people are begging for money, right? That's not good. That's not good. That brings guilt. That brings shame onto somebody, right? It's important that people feel like they can be a human being, right? And we take that pride away from people. I know, I've been there. I've been there, right? Right? But for me, I think lots of people, because I have such that sight for knowing, right? I understand people. I get people. After a couple of conversations, sometimes even one conversation, they pay pretty good. So, like lots of my friends, right? I was always that person somebody could come and have a chit chat with, right? I was that big girl, never had the boyfriend. So, all the girls came to me to ask about the boys, how to sort things out. I became a little bit of an expert, right? And then, of course, all my interests here as I'm working online, right? And all my studies and everything. Well, of course, right? So it's clear right now I'll be working with emotions, and I'll be working specifically with trauma, and I'll probably be working a lot with women whose lives fall apart after their marriages fall apart and their kids leave home and stuff, and the menopause sets in, right? The crazy sets into our minds, right? So I'll be able to help women with those kind of awakenings too, right? So I think this is going to work out well. And then I have my personal interests on top of that. So this will be my way of making my living, right? At the same time, providing value to people and helping people, right? My experiences, I come to realize how valuable they are, right? And these traits that I picked up along the way, how valuable they are for helping people. So, of course, that's what I'm going to do, right? But I also have personal goals too, right? And goals that are tied up with mission stuff, right? So I need to get those things done too. I want to have an amethyst mine. I think amethyst mine will work out very good with my brand, right? I can sell that online as a product of my brand, the crystals, right? We have amethysts in northern Manitoba and in northern Ontario. And as long as I've got something at sea level up there, right? Then I can build my nature retreat, my mindfulness mindset conference center on a lake, right? And have a plane come in, right? And have big companies do, getaways for their teams and stuff, right? To relax and recuperate and rebuild and recharge and stuff. And at the same place, my team, right? And my partners, like we have conference centers and places where we can have interesting people come to speak, right? A safe place in nature, away from the hairy scary of all the viruses and all the things that are trying to take us down on a daily basis. Yeah. Oh, Nancy's already at it. Nancy, take care of yourself. Don't drain yourself. Like, take care of yourself, right? Like rest. We know you're there and everything. Like, we're happy you're good. We're happy you're here and everything, but don't overtire yourself, right? Don't overtire yourself. Oh, we got Robert. I love Robert. Yeah. And Robert's been with us for a long time too, right? Oh, outside barbecuing. I love barbecues, right? I'm really funny about my meat, but I like hot dogs. I like hamburgers, right? I like pork if there's no blubber and stuff on it. Like I like pork, right, on a barbecue. Yeah. I don't eat potatoes. I stared at baked potatoes, right? Because I'm allowing myself a cheat day, but because low on the money and stuff, right? Not too many treats. Well, that's not true. I had this twirly pastry, right? 24 hours. I had this twirly pastry yesterday. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Butter pastry. I can't remember what it was called, but it was really good. Yeah, so it was a treat day yesterday, so I appreciated having that little treat. But now I got to buckle down again, right? Lose a few more pounds, concentrate on school, work, moving forward a little bit, right? We got to move forward all the time. Self-improvement. It's what all my brand is going to be, right? It's never too late. I'm supposed to be showing everybody it's never too late, right? 59 years old. And I look 20 years younger than I did 20 years ago. It's amazing. I love it, right? Let's keep going backwards. What was that movie with Jennifer Aston and her ex-husband? He was a sex symbol. I can't remember his name, right? And he did a movie. And I can't remember even what the movie was, right? Where he started as an old man and he just slowly got Benjamin Button. You're right. Just like a dictionary, Andrew. So smart. Yeah. What a great movie, right? I feel like Benjamin Button. I'm getting younger. Let's take a look at these few comments, right? Yeah, but that young man, he was such a nice guy, but he had such a whole bunch of problems, right? When the drugs get a hold of you and stuff. But I told him, I says, because I didn't know if I could save him. Maybe he was too far along, right? Maybe he experienced so much, right? But at the same time, he's going to remember and he's going to see little kids that are getting treated by their parents. And I told him, I says, you're going to be that person who's going to encourage them and have their talks and let them know that you understand, right? That you went through it too, right? And if you do that, then, whoever's in charge is going to look down and say, good job. Let's make your life a little bit better, right? And then the person that you helped when he grows up, he'll return the favor. It's all, yeah, it's all effect, right? Cause and effect. But let's take a look at a few of these comments here. Oh, good, Nancy. I'm pleased. I'm glad you're doing that. Yeah, but barbecue chicken, that sounds good. I made a chicken soup, a great big pot of chicken soup to last a couple of days. I might take a couple of them down, but I don't know if they have electricity to heat them up, right? I don't know. But they'll have a pot that I'm sure they can just like have a little barbecue out in the backyard, just put soup in a pot, right? And they'll feel like they're camping, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh, I just love the Trans Canada Highway in Northern Ontario up by Thompson and stuff. It was beautiful. What an amazing trip that was that I took. And I hope to do that real soon again, right? I want to do a trip. I want to check out an amethyst mine. So if I get an opportunity, right, before fall to go dig some amethyst, there is an working amethyst mine that's for the public up there. So I want to go check it out, right? Fill up a bucket and see if I can sell them. And if I find some really good, find some really good amethysts, right? Right. I want to get a feel for it because something tells me I need to have an amethyst mine. And I think it would be lots of fun. And I think it would be fun for people that stayed at my retreat, right? That they could actually go and dig up their own souvenirs to take home, right? Their own because they said there's like 100 years worth of amethyst out there, and you can fill up a big like apple bucket, and you can fill a big apple bucket up for like $150. Like some of those crystals you can get $150 for just in themselves, right? Depending how pretty they are, right? But any kind of crystals are beautiful. But again, yeah, I'm sure it's the clarity and the crystal and the points on them and stuff and how many clusters there are, yeah. And if they're geodes, right, yeah. Oh, Nancy. Okay. Yes. I wasn't going to put my names on any of those, but I will for sure. For you, Nancy, I'll definitely put the name on the stick. I'm already thinking of creative ways to make that stick really, really special. I want it to last for hundreds of years, right? When I do my sticks, I want them to last for 100 years. So I don't think I'm going to put like jewels and stuff on it because eventually they'll get knocked off and then somebody will just trash the stick. So I'll do something. I might paint it beautiful Indian designs or something along the sides, right? And then just put layers and layers of lacquer over top of it, make it look beautiful. Yeah. You guys will get a peek at it on Sunday. I'll show you where I'm at on it, right? No, I have a gold marker. I'll do it a gold marker and then I'll outline it in black and then I'll put wonderful colors on the stick. And yeah, it'll be amazing when it's done. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'm going to do something amazing with it. I might do little carving animals or something on the prongs or something. I don't know what I'll do with it, but it's going to be amazing. Okay, everybody. That hour and a half went really fast tonight, didn't it? Yeah, it went really fast. But yeah, Nancy, I'll get work. I'm so glad that you're feeling well. I don't know if you're feeling any better, but I'm certainly glad that you're home now, right? Yeah, I didn't like it. Made me nervous, right? When I didn't hear you, there were a couple of times that you went 2 weeks and I didn't hear from you, right? And I'd say I didn't want to bother you, but I sent you a couple of DMs. I don't know if you got them. Send you a couple of DMs just to make sure, right? But I didn't want to be pesky, right? I didn't want to be pesky. So, I just waited for you to get back to me, right? And if you got back to me, you got good news, right? If you didn't get back to me, right? Then I would just be optimistic that one day you would get back to me, right? So either way, it would have been okay. Okay, everybody. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Oh, I'm glad. Okay, I will too, right? I was thinking I was getting pesky with you, right? Sending my little messages and stuff. But let them pile up and just get back to me whenever you can, just to let me know that you're doing okay, right? But it was very nice to see everybody tonight. I'm glad. I hope yeah, there's a few that we're missing tonight, right? Yeah, Frank, right? And oh, we haven't seen Sharon for a while. And it's really bad in California right now too, right? But I hope everybody's doing good. And if you watch my live later on, right, just say in the comments that you popped in. That would be nice, right? Like, I would like to know that you came in afterwards, because most of my views come in after the lives, right? And then that's when I get most of my views. But if you want to come in, like I said, look at my comments going. I have the greatest moderators ever, right? They chat more than I do. Okay, everybody, have a great night, and we'll see you next Sunday, okay? Hope everybody stays safe. Take care. Bye-bye.